Let's get to that 7 seconds. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Also want to give double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, teaching truth and sincerity, and also who rule well. Peace and salutations are hopeful light. That's scattered four corners of the earth, which you so-called Negroes, Latino, Hispanics, Native American Indians, the true Israelites is coming out there like nation of Israel. All right. So this is the brother Yawanathan, from Great Millstone, Detroit. Just want to do another walk and talk. But what's not necessarily mind-boggling, I say it's mind-boggling, because I was like, I put myself in the shoes of today's Christian, and then you know how you put yourself in if somebody else's shoes. Listen, I'm gonna say it like this: if I was putting myself in the so-called today's Christian and woke up to this truth, which is inevitable, which is the facts are all there, but hey, Lord doesn't give it to everybody. I'll be in the mindset is the fuck, right? Now, when you get into Revelations, the 14th chapter, and I believe the 4th verse, where it tells you that the only 144,000 is the ones that's going to understand the new song, which is just wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. If I was outside of that and I was to, preach the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, I'll be mind fucked. Because there's tons of scriptures that debunk the sayings, the philosophies of the scriptures which our elders and apostles on down preach. And there's a list. The Christian church teaches there's an eternal fire. No, you don't go into a little pit where you're going to be suffering forever. No. When you get into the kingdom of heaven, yes, the ones who, Revelation 13, the ones that slay with the sword, kill with the sword, the one who put us in captivity shall go into captivity. Those are things that's not preached in so-called the TDJ churches. All right, and it's going to be a lot of paraphrasing, and Lord willing, I can, I don't want to write this out, I can actually get into the scriptures, just want to do the work while I'm just doing a little walk. But, there's a lot of philosophies out here that debunk, everything that the Christian church pushes is opposite of what the gospel is. Churches will talk to you about how you're going to prosper. When they look at the so-called churches, especially in the Jake community, and not even the Jake community, like, hey, you got Joel Osteen, so on and so forth, where it's always a prosperity doctrine. All right, you're going to get this, you're going to get a new house. You're going to get your family back. Oh, the kingdom of heaven awaits of you. All, a monarch of bullshit that they preach to, like I say, in Isaiah, and just correct me if I'm wrong, 30 and 10, preach to us smooth things, preach to us lies and deceits. That is what's going on in these Christian churches. And again, to water Yahweh Shimon Shai for our elders and apostles, to always say, blessed he that readeth. Because once you read and get the understanding, and I'm going to simplify it. So to you Christians, you got to get into your history. You got to sing. You got to know the history to know the mystery. You got to know the Hebrew, because we don't talk how we did in the ancient days. Slang is a thing that, grew over times. You gotta know, I said Greek, you gotta know your Hebrew, because history is not the same. That's why even with the men of GMS, from the elders and apostles on down, we read the Greek. All right? But, this lesson is basically just to quicken you. Because, still to this day, and this is like, even for how long have I been in this truth, it's mind-boggling that some even family members are still not in the know. What have I done to deserve this life? Listen, and I had to take cheerfully of this. If you don't have a life, Lord will give you one. If you have a life, the Lord will take it away. It's good to be lowly, man. It's good to be lowly on this time. Because everything on this side is corruptible. You can't, these things that you acquired, take cheerfully. You can't take into the kingdom of heaven, man. That's why we stack, our treasures up in heaven. Because, it's not just equality. It's an agenda to all these things that we do. It's not just, also how the Lord puts it, how the people in the Christianity church puts it, is not just if you're a good boy or a bad boy. Matthew 7:21 tells you it's not the ones who call on Lord, Lords. You can call on Lord as all you want. It's respectable, but if you bullshitting, that shit's null and void. Because having faith, you gotta have works, right? So with that works, are you doing what the Heavenly Father commanded you to do? Putting off that old man, doing things that you should not. And it can be, to the average Jake, like, some things can be hard, some things can be easy. Now in my walk, waking up, the most easiest thing I could do, one thing that the Lord frowns upon, when you look at the account of David and Bathsheba, you're not supposed to commit adultery. The Lord was displeased. And, other things like don't eat pork, don't eat ham, don't get lined up. Like I said, the books, the Torah books, was actually good books to help you. And this is my opinion, and just how my spirit, when it comes to the Torah books, that was a great place to start a foundation of the basics. All right, but even not just on how you conduct yourself, because you're not supposed to come as you are. Ephesians, if the book of Ephesians tell you, put off the former conversation, your conduct of the old man, right? But yet come as you are. But listen, this is to a point where this shit is not is going to save you, and it's to a point like, bro, if you ain't hip to what's really going on, you lost in the sauce. Because, it's definitely got these people out here who voted for Mr. DJ Trump and thinking this place can't be touched. That's why you get into
Isaiah, I believe the 14th chapter, and then you get into, it can be Jeremiah 50, and starting at verse 8 or 51 and 8, you know, where the nations are come together, basically, in roughly paraphrasing, to shoot their arrows over here in perfection, and they won't go out void. They won't be the word I wanted to look for when I did this at the last camp. It's not going to be a malfunction. It's not going to be a dud. No, there are these missiles over here that's aimed at America is going to serve their purpose. Because, these other nations, like I said, you got spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritual Babylon the Great, hey, even spiritual Nineveh. This place is a whore. Because every time another nation, another country got something valuable, who is over there putting their hand or getting their faith, being involved? America. And when I say that, I'm talking about like the natural resources and things. Gold, uranium, lithium, silver, oil. Even though oil's not a precious, because that's just the blood of the earth. But we all know true money is gold and silver. But over here, in these Christian churches, they ain't gonna teach you that. So there's a lot of waking up to do in these last times. And this is a fraction of things just to be put up to speed for. The Heavenly Father is not a so-called white man that you see or getting crucifixes in your so-called church. It's not about equality. It's about order. Basically everything that you see now in the place that you're standing and walking on, going to your 9 to 5 or your plantation, whatever you want to call it, is not how the Lord wanted things to set up. Okay? But Lord willing, I can get this video and pull out some scriptures. I don't want to rock this out. But again, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. This is truth, in sincerity, and also rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I'm going to close up. Say shalom.